Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be joining from. I am HR Funk, and this is my firing line for Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. This is the online show that is completely driven by you, your questions, and your comments. Otherwise, I would be running around my house trying to make sure all the clocks had fallen back to the exact same second. By the way, am I the only weirdo who does that? I can't stand it when the clocks in my house change at different intervals. For example, in my kitchen, I've got three clocks. I've got one on the stove, I've got one on the range hood above the stove, and I've got one on the coffee maker. And if they all three have different times, that bugs me to no end. So I go through and I try to set them where they are exactly changing at the exact same instant. I don't even really care what the real time is, as long as they all say the same thing. That makes me happy. Then I have to do the same thing in the bedroom and the living room, and of course in here in my office and everywhere else. But anyway, welcome to everyone who is here this evening for the show. I know we've got quite a few of you who have chimed in already. I saw, going back to the top of the list, Jeff Tim, I think, was the first one in the room. Roy Kiefer is here. We've got Rick Reed, Marv Turner, and I know we got some other people. KD Cowboy is here. And I thought I saw a few others, but now I'm not. Oh, Revolver Man is here too, I guess. But if you are here and you've not yet chimed in, please do so. We've got 23 people in the room, according to the official ticker. And I just saw Manny Reyes is here as well. Hello to you. This has been a kind of an odd few days for me with regard to my video production schedule. I had the video that went live on Saturday that I hope some of you, I hope at least saw this, which was the one where I was comparing the Military Armament Corporation Mac 5 to the X-Star EP9. And for whatever reason, very shortly to that video going live, I got a notice from YouTube saying that they had age restricted it, meaning that no one under the age of 18 is able to watch that video. And one or two of you sent me messages saying that when you tried to watch the video, you got a warning from YouTube. And I think at least one person had to try to demonstrate they were at least 18. The net result of all of that is that video that I put a good deal of work into has gotten very, very low view numbers. And I have a feeling that along with everything else, the age restriction probably means that YouTube did not send out as many notices as they otherwise would have. So if you haven't seen that video, I thought it was a pretty good one. Go back and take a look at it. It is on the channel page, and it should be one of the most recent ones up there. In fact, I think it's going to be the next to the most recent one that went up there. By the way, I hope you all had a great Halloween this past weekend, this past weekend, right? That was Halloween, Saturday night, or Friday night. Friday night, I guess it was. But is it just me, or does it seem like Halloween these days is not quite what it was when we were kids? And I've mentioned before, I think Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, largely because it's all about fun, dressing up in a costume, jumping out from behind a door and saying boo or whatever, the whole trick or treat thing, the candy, all of that. Whereas a lot of the other holidays really have a little bit more pressure attached to them, with the going out and trying to find the gifts or having the big family get-togethers and the meals and all that kind of thing. Halloween is just fun. And it seems like, to me anyway, that the younger folks these days are not enjoying Halloween the way we used to back in the days when we would watch The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and sit around and watch all of the old black and white horror movies, which I still enjoy to this day. I did stay up on Halloween night and watch the original 1931 Dracula, which was a lot of fun. But just doesn't seem the same nowadays as it was back then. And let me know your thoughts on that. I don't know. I think we've lost something there. Maybe something societally, something culturally. I'm not sure. But for whatever reason, it does not seem the same. And I know I've missed a couple of comments over here. Armored Ghost is here. Bought a clock for my clock. Revolverman 38, South Dakota Hiker, Chris 1911 signing in with his signature comment of men. Haven't tried to change the clock in the car. It's a PIT. That's one thing that's nice about the Jeep. It is very easy to change the time in my Jeep. So that's one cool thing that they have improved over time. I remember back in the day, if you were trying to change a clock in your car, you always had to have a degree in electrical engineering to be able to figure out exactly what to push and how long to hold it and all that to get the exact right time on there. Fortunately, at least with my Jeep these days, that's gotten easier. Tobacco Road Adventures is here, recently subscribed, really enjoying your content. Thank you. Thank you very much, and welcome aboard. I always try to do that whenever somebody chimes in to the comment section and says that they are brand new to the channel. I always try to welcome them. So everyone else, please do the same for Tobacco Road Adventures so so that Tobacco Road Adventures feels welcome here. Anyone lose a connection? My internet has been a little sketchy here lately. It's kind of been coming in and out and in and out. And not all that long ago this afternoon, it went out again. So hopefully it's going to stay with us for at least long enough to get the show in tonight. If I all of a sudden disappear, you'll know that my internet just went down for some reason. Richard Mabry, we only had 6 or 8 groups come. I assume you mean for Trick or Treat. Plus the World Series game was on. Yeah, I know. But still, I don't know. It just seemed like that not as much enthusiasm around Halloween these days. Even the TV commercials and things like that are not really there. It seems like from the retail and marketing world, everybody is trying to get past Halloween, past Thanksgiving, and get into the Christmas season so they can start to get out all of the commercials and everything for Black Friday and for the days leading up to Christmas. And I don't begrudge anyone trying to make an honest buck as far as that goes, but I don't know. I feel like we're losing something with our fall holidays. And Marv Turner asking the topic of that video. I assume you're talking about the one from last Saturday. It was a comparison. It was an old versus new comparison where I was using my Mac 5 as a representative of the old MP5 style firearm, comparing it to the new polymer-based X-Star EP9. And it's about a half an hour video, and I do a lot of the breakdown of the various times and accuracy and things like that. And as I said, I thought it was a pretty good video, but of course, YouTube apparently decided they didn't like it. Sunny Guns, love Halloween, so do I. Limp Bizkit is here. I can see your comment here, so I'm not sure what happened with your PC, but I can definitely see you now. Halloween today is more adults than children. Probably adults that remember how much fun it was when they were kids. All my ghouls and goblins came around a space of about 5 minutes around 2000. Probably all from the same group. Jonathan Jackson, hello to you. Don't lie, you're out TPing your principal's house. Don't tell anybody. I got away with it. William Barnett is here. Thanks for checking in. Junk Food Zombie came across your videos a while ago and enjoyed them enough to say that I will subscribe to this guy so long as we get to call him HR Funkin' Stuff. That's fine with me. I don't get too concerned about things like that. And I've had a lot of various nicknames over the years, so and some of them not so complimentary, but I can definitely live with that one. And South Dakota Hiker, I agree with you about the commercialization. 29 Palms, thoughts on the Beretta 92 FS as a duty pistol? I think you could do a lot worse. I can definitely say that. Um, the Beretta 92 is a proven platform. It is reliable. It's accurate. Um, it requires a little bit of commitment to the platform to be able to master the transition. Well, the double action trigger pull, then the transition to the single action. But it is uh, as I said, very proven pistol. It was used by the military for years and years and years. It was used for many different by many different law enforcement organizations, and I really think it's a very sound, very reliable pistol. And for some reason, I'm getting choked up here. Tobacco Road Adventures. We used to get hundreds of trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood. Over the past few years, we get very few. Yeah, I don't know. It's like kids just aren't going out trick-or-treating anymore. I don't know why that is. Frank Bruce, hello to you. Greg Shearer is here. How is everyone? I am fine, but I cannot speak for everyone. South Dakota hiker, you must have Spectrum. That's why your internet is going on. I don't know. No, I don't have Spectrum. I'm not sure what's going on. And like I said, this has been for several days now. It's been kind of off and on, and I'm not sure if it's got something to do with the weather or what's happening with our internet. D. Gilly, hello to you. Thanks for joining from Pennsylvania. And Ben is here, my son, is joining us from Columbus, Ohio. Thanks for joining, son. A little late, but made it. Glad you did. 29 Palm, thoughts on Spectre gear duty slings. I have very, very limited familiarity or experience with them, so I really don't feel comfortable commenting one way or the other. Armored Ghost, Thanksgiving is great. Should be a week long. Yeah, except for I probably wouldn't fit it in my clothes after a week. Lion Quest Fitness, thanks for joining, Greg. Good evening to you. Stopped in for a moment. Have to get back to the books. I'll listen on my drive to school tomorrow morning. Greg is going to EMT school. Is that right? I believe that's correct. So good for you, and I hope that all goes well. And yeah, definitely get back to studying. Roy Kiefer says, ground here, Halloween is much bigger and far more expensive than it was when I was a kid. Yeah, I'll bet. I think that's true for all of us. Favorite Halloween candy? You can see a bag of it behind there. It's actually unopened as of yet, but it's a bag of Reese Cups. I am a fiend for chocolate and peanut butter. Reese Cups are my favorite, but things like Butterfinger bars are not too far behind. Basically, anything with chocolate and peanut butter, and I am happy. I am there. Best Halloween candy is roast beef. I don't think that counts as candy. SC Patriot is here. Thanks for joining. And Rick Reed made a basically a $20 donation. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That helps out tremendously. I think I mentioned a couple of minutes ago that YouTube has been on kind of a demonetization binge here lately, and any donation like that really, really helps. And I cannot express my gratitude adequately. So thank you, Rick. Ben Deho, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Howdy to you and Semper Fi. Well, thank you, 29 Palms. I appreciate that sentiment. Frank Bruce, are you planning a Veterans Day shoot? Looking at my M1 1911 combo shoot. I want to do something, and part of it's going to just depend on the amount of time that I have available and the weather conditions that I might have and everything. We've got the 250th Marine Corps birthday coming up, and of course Veterans Day right there with it. So I would like to do something, but I haven't decided just exactly what. And I know I'm running out of time, so I got to get that done. But and I also want to get up a Marine Corps birthday tribute video. I try to do one of those every year. So I've got a lot of things. It's sort of like crunch time here at the end of the year, where I'm trying to cram a bunch of things in together. And those are all some of the things that I want to try to get in before the end of the year. Armored Ghost, in hindsight, do you think the military should have taken Beretta's offer with the newer M9A3 and continued actually, yes. And I made a video like that several years ago at this point, where I talked about that with being able to transition to a very similar platform, going from the M9 and the M9A1 to, at that time, the M9A3 and now the M9A4. I think would have made a very easy transition. There would have been a lot of the gear that would have worked. Holsters would have probably been more or less the same. I mean, if you were going to add a light or something like that, then that might have required some difference. Magazines would have been the same. It would not have required the transition training and some of the other things that were required with the M17 and M18. But that's all water under the bridge at this point, because now we have made that transition. And I do not expect that the military is going to look backward and start thinking about moving back to some of those older platforms. Although I suspect there are probably still quite a few M9s and M9A1s in service out there, but their days are certainly numbered. Ben is a fruit that didn't fall far from the tree because he likes Buckeyes, and that's something I didn't think to mention, but I like those too. Nate Huxtable makes s'mores with Reese's Cups instead of Hershey's chocolate. You know what? I like the sound of that. uh, okay, it looks like Nathan and Marv Turner are talking. I was a little confused by that comment, but okay, now I see what's going on. Mountain Shooter, U2 has been on a gun demonetizing, I think it's supposed to say binge, but they don't mind taking the ad money. No, they don't. They are quite okay with that. Limp Biscuiteer, speaking of lights, my local Harbor Freight had pistol lights in stock. I managed to grab, really? They had pistol lights at Harbor Freight. I'm going to have to see if our local Harbor Freight has any. I know that they've got lights in there, but I have not seen a firearm light. Ben Funk, I like Smith & Wesson handguns. See, I don't know where he gets that stuff from. Thomas Campbell, my drill sergeant's son prefers the Beretta versus the SIG. Uh, I would imagine there are quite a few people, if they have used the Beretta for a period of time and they got comfortable with it and they shoot it well, probably felt the same way. As I said, it's a great proven platform, very reliable, very soft shooting. There's a lot to like about the Beretta pistols. Tom Stewart, thank you very much. I will attempt to keep up the same quality of videos that you've seen throughout however long you've been watching. Revolverman 38, good evening, Chief. I think that this is supposed to say, do you tend to carry bigger revolvers or autos in the fall and winter months? The answer to that is yes. When I have cover garments and I can carry bigger firearms, I tend to carry bigger firearms. Ben Deho, PX4 Compact. I tested a PX4 probably 3 years ago or so, and it just didn't work well for me. It wasn't quite my cup of tea. If you have one and it works well for you, that's fantastic. I hope it continues to work well for you. But it just, I don't know. It wasn't the right firearm for me. Mountain Shooter just bought a 6-inch 686 357. Love it. Yeah, the the 686 platform and the 357 Magnum cartridge is one of those marriages made in heaven. They go together like chocolate and peanut butter, cookies and milk, whatever. It's just a tremendous combination. The 6-inch version gives you a great long sight radius and just a really good shooting combination. Marv Turner just bought a Beretta Malik, or excuse me, a Daria Malik, and like it as much as I did the 92 FS that you used to have. I tested a Malik. It's probably been a year and a few months ago, and I was really impressed by that. And I tested it side by side with some of my Berettas, and I thought it was a great pistol. And when I went to GunCon back in June, there was a representative from Daria there, and he recognized me and remembered that video that I had done, and that led to me getting the Daria Island pistol that I tested a while back. In fact, I still have it, and I think I'm going to be getting another couple of firearms from Daria coming up. But I have been quite impressed with the quality of the firearms coming from Daria, and especially at the price that they're selling for. So. Stay tuned for more stuff coming up from Daria, and I'm glad that you like yours, Marv. Jim Kohler, hi to you. Armored Ghost, which holsters, brands do you find most comfortable for everyday carry? It all depends on how I'm carrying in any given day, and this is something that I was getting into with the video that went live yesterday. I tend to carry firearms differently, different times of the year, depending on how I'm dressed, and also depending on what I'm doing, where I'm going, how I'm dressed for a certain occasion. And I have a variety of different holsters that I use for different types of carry. And it's kind of hard to zero in on just one or two that I use. If you look back through the channel, I've made various videos over the years talking about different holsters, different modes of carry, and things like that. That will give you a great insight into what I carry and how I carry and all of that. But trying to come up with like, a one or two favorite is very difficult for me because I carry so many different firearms in so many different ways with so many different combinations of clothes, etc. Limp Biscuiteer Harbor Freight's Tactical Light brand Braun has a pistol light. It's a Streamlight TLR-1 clone. Okay. And this just took a jump. Streamlight is currently suing Harbor Freight over it, and the lights have gotten hard to find since. I think I saw something on that now that you put that up there. I seem to recall something about that. SC Patriot, do you think Glock discontinuing is a mistake? I don't think Glock is discontinuing. I think Glock is revamping their selections. I think we're going to see very, very similar firearms coming from Glock in the near future with some minor differences that will get them around some of these legal issues that have cropped up lately, both in California and with some other states that are considering similar language. So I think that's really what Glock is doing. I don't think Glock is going anywhere. They're just making some minor adjustments to their production, and we're going to see them back again in virtually the same form. Marv Turner, your review is part of why I bought it. Well, good. I am glad to hear that. I hope you like it. Be sure to let me know what you think of it to see if it lines up with my review. But like I said, I was really impressed by the Malik. James Archer, hello to you. Art Grote, good evening. Ben Deho, I used the Beretta M9 when I was in the Air Force. Wait a second. The AFSO. So I'm not sure if that's the Air Force or if that's a specific sheriff's office somewhere. But moving to the PX4 Compact was easy. Cap locks. You're losing me there. Scott read something earlier that they are now going after Ruger like they did Glock. If I understand the legislation correctly, and I am not claiming that I do, but they did not specify Glock by name. They talked about the cruciform disconnector, or not disconnector, but cruciform sear that Glock uses. And the Ruger RXM has a very similar system to that, as do many other Glock clones. So I'm not surprised. I doubt that they're going after Ruger so much as Ruger just happens to fall under the same definition of the law as Glock and some of the others. Junk Fu Zombie was sad to hear that FN discontinued Scar line. Recently gotten a great deal on a 17S. Wasn't planning on grabbing 16S for a little while, but FN kind of forced my hand, so I snagged one. Well, I'm glad you got those. FN is weird. That's all I can say. They will discontinue platforms kind of willy-nilly. They're a little bit like SIG in that regard. When they discontinued the P35 high power after 70 something years worth of continual production, and just all of a sudden, what a poof, gone. I don't know. They just kind of tend to do that. I don't know. It's just kind of a characteristic of that company. But I'm glad you got those 17s while you could. Armored Ghost, what's your tuxedo gun? Well, of course, it is the Walther PPK in a shoulder holster a la James Bond. What else would you carry in a tuxedo? Doug CY. I carry an M9A4. Really like it. Hope to see it on your channel to see what you think. Thank you. I would like to try an M9A4. I've never tried a Beretta 92 variant that I can actually mount an optic on. I would like to get an M9A4 slide, or at least one that's machined like the M9A4, for my M9A3. I don't want to send the slide for my M9A3 away and get it machined because they're not making them anymore, but I would like to get a slide that would fit that, just so I could try an optic on there to see what I think of it. And wow, I'm caught up in the comments. So jumping back here to my list of things that I was going to mention this evening. For all of you who watched the video that I put up yesterday, in fact, it went live at about 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time yesterday morning. That was one that I decided, it's a short video. It's only about 11 minutes long. I'll go ahead and I didn't think it was going to resonate that much. And I thought, I'll just put this up now. And I did a very brief premiere for it. And that thing, the last time I looked, it was up around 13,000 views in now just a little over 24 hours. It had over 10,000 views in 24 hours. I was kind of surprised by that, and the comments have been fantastic. So thank you to everyone who watched that. Oh, and by the way, YouTube did demonetize that one. I have no idea why, because if you saw the video, you know it's basically just me standing there talking. It's not even any live fire or anything like that. There's nothing in it that I can see that's a violation of any YouTube policy, but they still demonetized it. Even so, I'm happy with the view numbers that I'm getting. So again, thanks to everyone who might have watched that video. I don't know, it was one of those spur of the moment kind of things where I'd been thinking about that for a while, and I thought, I'm finally going to fire up the camera and make a quick video. And so far, it has done very, very well. Oh, real quick, while I'm thinking about it, there's not going to be a Wednesday premiere video tomorrow. Part of the reason I'm doing the live stream show tonight is because tomorrow, and I had one that I could have put up, but I decided I'm going to wait and save that for Saturday. I've got some other things that I've been working on. I was out on the range earlier today getting some video footage for something that you're probably going to see next week. and I thought I'm just gonna forego tomorrow. So, all of you who would normally be tuning in tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning, or at least 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, you can take the morning off and have a morning to do something else because I'm not going to have the Wednesday premiere video tomorrow. John, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce your name right. John Bunner, is that correct? What are your thoughts on the Marlin Camp carbine versus the PCC guns? Well, the Marlin Camp carbine is sort of the granddaddy PCC, or at least one of them, along with the various lever action pistol and revolver caliber carbines from back in the day. I have a very favorable view of the Marlin Camp carbine. When I first joined the police department, where I spent the majority of my career in the early 90s, uh, they were progressive enough that they actually had carbines in the trunk of the cruisers. And this was before the days where every police car out there had an AR or anything like that. And we had Marlin Camp carbines. And we had Smith & Wesson semi-auto pistols, so the Marlin Camp carbines took the same magazines as our handguns, but we had that shoulder fire platform, so greater stability, greater accuracy at distance, more velocity on the bullets and all that. Um, and I thought they were great little carbines. They weren't really meant for police work. They weren't meant to live in the trunk of a cruiser, so they would start to get rusty after a while. And the wooden stocks got kind of beat up after a while and everything. So it was not like an AR that you could throw back there and leave there for a decade, and it's going to be in pretty much the same shape as it was when you put it in there. But all in all, those little carbines took a beating. They kept working. I don't recall any real functioning issues with them. I don't recall any accuracy issues with them. Most of what happened to them was cosmetic because of the life they lived. And anything that lives in a police car, to include police officers, tends to suffer from that environment over time. And those carbines were no exception to that. But as I said, even so, I thought they were pretty good little firearms. When we traded those eventually on ARs, we had a chance to buy them back for like $125 or something. We had a firearms retailer come in, and they took those on trade, and then we could buy them back from the retailer. And I wish I'd bought one now. At the time, I didn't have the extra cash. I was still a relatively young police officer and didn't have an extra $125 laying around to spend on that. But I wish I had. I'd like to have one nowadays. Mountain shooter, I thought Glock left the door open for the rest of the pistol industry lawsuits. Um, I don't know. I can't really comment on that. 29 Palms, which do you prefer for a duty shotgun, 870p or 590A1? I was lived, raised, trained on the 870. I am a dyed-in-the-wool 870 fan. We had a 590A1 at my last apartment, and I can remember shooting it, and I could shoot it okay, but I just didn't care for it. It just didn't feel right to me. Um, for those of you who are fans of the 590A1, I hope it works well for you, but it's just kind of like I talked about with the PX4. It's just not the firearm for me. Steve Detweiler, thanks for checking in. Ben Deho, Air Force Master Sergeant retired, McConnell Air Force Base. All right. Well, thank you for clarifying that. And thank you for your service to the country. Limp Biscuiteer, speaking of the M9 earlier, I just recently found the Gerson Regard M9 clone apparently passed the NATO trials. It's a NATO approved pistol. If I knew that, I'd forgotten it. I tested a Gerson Regard a while back, and it was another one that was a pretty good pistol. So, and Not sure if you actually purchased one or not, but I think so. Or I think if so, you're going to enjoy that one. Revolver Man, holster carry, Kydex or leather. Again, it just depends on what I'm carrying, how I'm dressed, what kind of weather conditions there are. I like leather. I like the looks of leather. I really like, that classy, nice leather holster with a nice firearm, nice handgun. But yeah, so much of it depends. It's really hard to say one or the other definitively for me. Tommy, thank you for sticking with me for 7 years. I appreciate it. Junk Food Zombie, thanks for stopping in. Have a great rest of your evening, and I hope to catch you the next time. Steve Detweiler, me and Robbie bought $200 worth of pumpkins for $100. Okay, got them the day after Halloween, apparently. It'll be pumpkin carnage on Saturday. Well, have a good time. Loves Dogs 1954, thanks for chiming in. So that video is up to 12,000 views at this point. And if I look at my official number, it might even be a little bit higher than that because for whatever reason, when I look on my YouTube studio and it shows me my analytics for my videos, the numbers are always higher there than what you see on the normal YouTube view page. I don't know why that is. I don't know why YouTube is not able to coordinate that. But thank you for the update, Loves Dogs. I appreciate it. Marv Turner had a Marlin Camp carbine. Really regret selling. Yeah, too bad that one got away. Roy Kiefer, winter looms, and I am sitting several larger. Wait a second. Oh, shifting to several larger, heavier firearms. But that I am, Sig P220. That's a good handgun, though. Very good handgun. Wyoming was in the Air Force for 5 years, then a civilian for the military for another. For some reason, my video just sort of went off and back on. So hopefully I didn't lose anybody. It looks like it's back up now. Anyway, civilian for the military for another 5. When I worked for the Marine Corps as a civilian, I got to shoot the M4 Benelli. What do you think of that gun? I've never shot an actual M4, but I've got a Military Armament Corporation 1014, which is the same design, just made in Turkey. And I really like that shotgun. Great shooting shotgun. In fact, I need to do an update with that. I've had that one now for about 2 years, and it has taken over duty as my bedside shotgun. And it's just fantastic. I really, really like it. John Bunner just picked up a Marlin Camp carbine in 45. Cool. Love that it takes 1911 magazines. Now to find a load that will do well in both, like old guns with soul and wood stocks. Yeah, and I think the Camp 9 was a little bit more common than the 45 version. So cool they found one of those. L. Arthur, greetings to you. Thanks for joining from Vinton County. And same to you. Good evening, Augustus McCrae. RKR, hey HR, really enjoy your videos. What are your thoughts on handgun red dot zeroing? This is one of these things that you'll get a different opinion from different people depending upon their perspective. I know a lot of people like 7-yard zeros and 10-yard zeros and things like that. I like to zero mine at 25 yards. Reason being, if I have a deviation at say 5 yards or 7 yards or whatever, it's going to be much, much less than if I'm trying to take a longer range shot and I have a deviation from, say, 25 yards after I've zeroed at 7 yards or 10 yards or something like that. The bullet's going to be much farther off than if I zero at the greater distance and I'm shooting at the closer distance. So I tend to zero at 25 yards, but as I said, you will have a lot of other people that are going to have different opinions on where you should zero your red dot sight. Limp Biscuiteer looking at M9 Gerson regards strictly because I'm a nerd and I want to build a Resident Evil pistol. Well, good luck with that. Armor Ghost, do you see the 556 223 caliber being around for a very long time? Well, first off, it's already been around for a very long time. And yeah, I think it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't know what's going on with the M7 or XM7 or whatever they're calling it these days. I saw something a while back that looked like the military might be cooling down on their enthusiasm for that firearm and the new cartridge. But yeah, I think the 556 is still going to be around for quite a long time. Limb Biscuiteer, would it be possible for you to get your hands on a Mac 2? It's a Beretta M2 client. It would probably be possible, and I would like to try one, but the opportunity has not presented itself yet. If I do get a hold of one, you'll definitely see it. Corey Clinton, just want to jump in and say hello and a big fan of the channel. Well, thank you, Corey. I appreciate that greatly. Thanks for stopping in and thanks for saying hi. Nate Huxtable, got my granddad's early Belgian Browning 16 gauge up and running. Oh, cool. Very cool. Thank you, Mike Burchard. And if you are a Marine, happy birthday to you and also Semper Fi. I've got some things coming up here in the near future on the channel. I've got a couple of irons in the fire that if they come to fruition, it's going to bring some things in front of the camera that some of you have been asking me about for quite a long time. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed here. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm working with some of the companies out there that are producing some products that I think a lot of you are going to want to see and you're going to be interested in. And it's going to be, for some of these, a little bit of a learning curve for me. And I'm hoping to bring basically any of you along with me who might kind of be in the same boat that I am with some of these brand new products or at least new to me products. So keep an eye out for those. One thing I have not heard about the last couple of years, I've been at House of Pain Armament on Veterans Day or Veterans Day weekend for an event that they've done there. And so far this year, I have not heard anything about that. So if any of you have been wondering what's going on or if I'm going to be there for Veterans Day or whatever, at this point, I don't know. Like I said, I have not heard anything yet from them. But if I do hear something or if they invite me there for that weekend, I'll try to get that information out as quickly as possible. L. Arthur, what loads do you carry or recommend for a 357? It depends a little bit on which specific revolver we're talking about. If I'm talking about my 6-inch Model 28, then full power 158 grain 357s are what I like to shoot in that. It's a big, heavy revolver. It handles that recoil well, and that's a great field load for basically anything on 4 legs, on 2 legs, whatever. If I'm getting down into my K-frame 357s, I'm probably going to step it down. Those are probably going to be for defense against people, bad guys. Um, for those, I'll step it down to the 125 grain magnums. Um, I do not have a J frame 357, so I really can't comment too much on that. If I did, I probably carry it with 38 special ammunition. Mountain Shooter referenced the XM7. Would not want that much pressure going on next to my head. Yeah, 87,000 psi. I knew it was up there. I wasn't sure what. Armored Ghost, who has funnier stories, Marines or sailors? Marines when they're telling stories about sailors. Limp Biscuiteer, I think the newest product that I'm really interested in is a Winchester 1887 that Cimarron is bringing out now. Wanted one ever since the Terminator 2 and the Mummy Returns. Cimarron really has some nice firearms. Generally they are built overseas, but they're built to Cimarron specifications, and sometimes they will do a few tweaks when they come over here, similar to oh, what's the other company that does that with the Old West guns? I can't think right now. Yeah, it'll come to me in a little bit, but yeah, the Cimarron guns. I've got one Cimarron Model P in the safe here next to me. Really nice revolver. I don't think you could go wrong if you pick up any of their handguns or long guns. Okay, L. Arthur, it looks like you're asking about the Model 19 for the 357. That's one, if it's an older Model 19, probably a mid-range 125 grain 357. If it's one of the newer ones that's a little bit stronger, then I would go with full power 125 grain 357s. Revolver Man 38, any recommendations for a good EDC knife? I'm a big fan of my Victorinox Swiss Army knives. Those are the ones that go with me almost all the time. They are more tool than anything else, and I use them for everything. I've talked in the past that with my Swiss Army knives, I've done everything from slicing apples to repairing machine guns with them, and I really like those as tools. Taylor's, that's the company I couldn't think of. Thank you very much. So what are we looking at here? It's about 48 minutes we've been at this now. I think I'll keep it going for another 12 minutes. So we'll run it right at the 1 hour mark. If you have any comments, questions, or anything else you want to get out here in the last couple of minutes, go ahead and do so. I've had the stream going by at the bottom of the page ever since we started. If anyone wants to jump in as a last minute guest, by all means, you can send me an email to hrfunksmail@gmail.com. I will send you a link to the video, or to the live stream rather, and you can join as a guest. Just remember, if you have your camera turned on, everybody in the world potentially will be able to see you. If you would prefer, you can join with the camera turned off and just join by audio. Wyoming Gun Project, are you going to SHOT Show this year? I don't know yet. I would like to, but we're going to be doing a lot of traveling over the holidays, and I don't know. We're just going to have to see what the financial situation is like and the schedule situation is like and everything else. I'm just not certain yet. Spanky backs. CZ SP7501 Tactical is my new favorite. Have you tried it? No, I've not tried that specific one, but I've got a CZ75, I've got a P01, and most recently I have a CZ P09C Nocturne, and those are all fantastic handguns. So I'm sure that yours is also a very, very good firearm. Marv Turner giving my 10-year-old great nephew's Swiss Army knives for Christmas. Yeah, what a great gift. I remember a few years ago giving one to my dad. We gave one to my daughter-in-law. They're just really, really handy. Like I said, I like them for tools as much as anything, and I use them constantly for all kinds of things. Doug C, Wyoming. When I deployed to Saudi in '02, I was issued a Gerber multi-tool. Have you ever used one of those? I don't think I've used a Gerber. I've got a Leatherman that I use a lot, a very similar tool, but I don't think I've ever used the Gerber version. Tim, good night to you. Thanks for joining. Have a great rest of your evening. Mike Burchard, have you tried the Savage Revel in 22 long rifle? No, I haven't. That's one that has not made it here yet for me to try out, but I've got quite a few other 22s that I use routinely, but that's not one of them. Roy Kiefer with 45 ACP, I think you meant. Do you feel 4.25 or 4.4 inch barrel generally provide can't talk generally provides adequate velocity? It depends a little bit on what ammunition. I think generally speaking, you get adequate velocity from the 4.25 inch barrel. Um, if you're using something like a 185 grain jacketed hollow point or something like that, that's probably going to do a little bit better from the shorter barrel than something like a 230 grain full metal jacket or even 230 grain JHP or something like that. Even so, I don't want to be standing in front of either one of them coming from a 4.25 inch barrel or a 4.4 inch barrel. But I think you're going to be doing just fine with either one. With 45 ACP, if you start dropping much below a 4.25 inch barrel, then I don't know. We're going to start giving up some velocity and potentially some expansion potential. Armory Ghost, do you think criticisms of 3 white dot sights are exaggerated? Yes, I do. Having used those things for years and years back in the late 80s through the 90s into the early 2000s, when I hear these people these days that are so whatever locked into, it's got to be an all black rear sight, got to be an all black rear, and I'm thinking, why? I mean, I never hear anybody say why they have such a strong preference for an all black rear sight, other than because so many other people say they want an all black rear sight and some sort of high visibility front sight. I it's just one of those weird mantras that's out there that everybody seems to latch onto, just like the video that I was talking about yesterday with the appendix inside the waistband carry. I like 3 dot systems. I prefer a contrasting color between the two rear dots and the front dot, just so you know which one's the front dot when you're looking at which one are the rear dots. But as I said, having used those things for a long, long time, I didn't find it to be any problem. They're fast, they're easy to use. Um, I also don't mind the Beretta 2 dot system where you've got the dot in the middle of the rear sight and the dot on the front sight. So you sort of dot the eye between the two. I think that's also a high visibility and fast system. So I don't know. People just get so wrapped up in some things like that. Rob Tenring, ever try XS big dot sights? Yes, I have, and I think those work well too. The sight that was on my Springfield Armory Hellcat was, I don't know if it was made by XS, but it was that same basic idea, that real high visibility front dot. Same thing with the Ruger RXM. It has that real high visibility front dot. I think those work well. I don't have any issues with them at all. Big Shug got a set of fixed iron sights from Ozak Armament, and honestly, for the price, they feel and look like a real set of front sight post carry handle sights. Okay, was a great option for a 7.5 inch and 5 AR and 556. Good. Tobacco Road Adventures. I have had the I think it's either 18 inch, 20 inch Ruger American Hunter for quite a few years now. That's been a very good rifle. It's not quite as accurate as my Remington Model 700, but for a relatively short-barreled 308, it's accurate enough. So hopefully yours is going to be the same. No Show Gun Reviews. Thanks for joining in. And Rabbi is here. How you doing, Rabbi? Glad to hear from you. I was a little worried because I haven't heard or seen from you in a while, so it's good to see you pop in here. And we're down to the last 5 minutes of the show, folks. So anything you want to throw in here at the end, be sure to do so. And I will try to address those quick before we wrap it all up. This has been great, by the way, though. A lot of great questions, a lot of great comments. So thank you to everyone for joining. We're up to 58 people in here. So good crowd. 59 just went up to. Mike Pritchard, have you tried the Indian 556 New Man on French equipment and French powder? No. I'm not entirely sure what that is even, so I'm kind of lost there. Limp Biscuiteer what's everybody's favorite dinosaur? Parasaurolophus, just because I like saying the word. Well, good for you, Rabbi. I know you've been working hard. I know there's been a lot going on down there. So, like I said, glad to hear from you. Thanks for checking in. Randy Chavez, what sights do you like best on your 1911s? I think I kind of like the traditional. Well, I say traditional, the Novak style sights with the 3 white dots. That's what I have on my Tizosh Raider, and that just works well for me. Surplus from India. All right, I was not familiar with that. Don't forget Reese cups and s'mores. Yes, I'm going to keep that in mind. Michael Costa, hi all from South Florida. HR, I'd like to see you show us some more single action revolvers. I have to get some more first. Jay Maldo, hello HR, late to the show, but made it. We'll have to catch up later. Well, I hope you enjoy it. This has been a great show. So a lot of interaction, a lot of great questions, like I said a minute ago. So hopefully you enjoy the replay. Randy Chavez, considering the tritium, but like the Novak style as well. And you can get the Novak style sights with tritium inserts. And I believe you can get them right from Novak if you check with them. Limp got the Reese's with the jelly. And yeah, I saw that advertised a while back, and I didn't think I liked the looks of that. All right, gang, we have arrived at the 1 hour point, so I'm going to start to wrap things up here. Thank you again to everyone who has joined this evening. Thanks for all your participation, the great questions, the great comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone. To everybody who joins in for the premiere videos on Wednesday mornings and Saturday mornings, thanks for joining in. Thanks for the participation there. To all of my channel members for that monthly donation that you make. I cannot put into words how much I appreciate the fact that all of you make that contribution to the channel. I talked earlier this evening about the fact that YouTube is again demonetizing basically everything that I put up, which is obnoxious. And when I get into those times, that contribution that my channel members make is just absolutely invaluable. Thank you to everyone out there. For now 13 years worth of support on this platform. It's when I started out all those years ago, to think that I would still be doing this 13 years later, and that I would have whatever I've got now, about 1,200 videos or something like that I've produced. Never thought that I would make it to this point, to the point that we collectively, because all of you are in this together with me, are up to 86,000 members or subscribers. I think it's like 86,300 or something at last count. So just absolutely unbelievable. Rabbi just signed up again as a new member. Thank you, Rabbi. I appreciate that. To all of you, have a great rest of your evening. I hope to see you all on Saturday morning for the premiere video that day. And until next time, everybody, good evening and good shooting. Bye-bye for now.